Hello everybody and welcome to Top Tier Films. In this video, we are going to take a look at 20 must-watch Western movies. Before we continue, please consider supporting this channel by hitting the like and subscribe button. And if you see something interesting or you have some other movies to suggest, let us know in the comments section. Thanks for watching, and now on with the video. An immoral peasant-turned-outlaw and a dynamite-tossing Irish revolutionary attempt to liberate political prisoners, defend their compatriots against a well-equipped militia, and risk their lives on a train filled with explosives. Ed Harris and Viggo Mortensen stand together as friends and for-hire peacekeepers Cole and Hitch in a character-driven Western based on Robert B. Parker's novel. The paths of two gunmen tracking an escaped murderer and that of a widow with an agenda of her own collide in the town of APPALOOSA. The Hateful Eight is set 8 or 12 years after the Civil War in wintry Wyoming. Bounty hunter John Ruth is trying to get his bounty, Ms. Daisy DeMurg, to the town of Red Rock, where she's scheduled to be brought to justice. After losing his horse in a bet, Pat Brennan hitches a ride with a stagecoach carrying newlyweds, Willard and Doretta Mims. At the next station, the passengers fall into the hands of three outlaws headed by a man named Usher. When Usher learns that Doretta is the daughter of a rich copper mine owner, he decides to hold her for ransom. Sergei Kowalski, a mercenary only out for himself and a few dollars, joins up with a Mexican peasant-turned-revolutionary, Paco Roman, when the price is right. No longer content to toil for the rich and powerful, Roman plans to bring a new order to Mexico by force with his small ragtag group. In 1870s America, the fury of a gang leader is unleashed when a peaceful American settler avenges the death of his family. Then, as his cowardly fellow townspeople betray him, he is forced to hunt down the outlaws alone. Having witnessed the brutal murder of his entire family by bandits, Bill Macheta has spent 15 years planning his vengeance. Finding a kindred spirit in Ryan, an experienced gunslinger seeking his own revenge, the two team up to find and kill Walcott, a fearsome bandit on the loose. Army Capt. Joseph Blocker reluctantly agrees to escort a dying Cheyenne war chief and his family back to their tribal land. Embarking on a harrowing and perilous journey, they soon encounter a young widow whose family was killed on the plains. The travelers must now band together to survive a punishing landscape that's crawling with hostile Comanches and vicious outliers. The Big Gundown follows the story of a veteran bounty hunter and would-be senator is tasked by a railroad baron with hunting down a crafty, knife-wielding Mexican peasant accused of the rape and murder of a young girl. A white man raised by American Indians, Russell is subjected to numerous instances of racism when people discover his background. When the stagecoach Russell is riding in is held up by a gang run by one of the scheming passengers, it falls to Russell to defend the passengers, the very people who have dismissed and insulted him. The Civil War is over and the South has fallen, but Colonel Jonas has a plan to revive the Confederacy. He raids a Union Army detail and walks away with valuable treasure that he intends to put to use raising another rebel army. As he needs to keep the treasure safe during shipment, he places it in a coffin and forces saloon girl Claire to play widow. Matthew Quigley is an American rifleman who travels to the Australian outback to answer a help-wanted ad calling for a sharpshooter. When Quigley meets his employer, Elliot Marston, he's appalled to discover the job involves killing Aboriginal Australians. When Quigley is knocked out, Marston leaves him and a local crazy woman to die in a remote part of the outback. The true story of fast draws and wild rides, train and bank robberies, a torrid love affair, and a new lease on outlaw life in Bolivia. It is also a character study of a remarkable friendship between one of the most likable outlaws in frontier history and his closest associate, the ever-dangerous Sundance Kid. On the run after murdering a man, accountant William Blake encounters a Native American man named Nobody, who prepares him for his journey into the spiritual world. Circumstances transform a mild-mannered Blake into a notorious Old West gunslinger. When prostitute Delilah Fitzgerald is disfigured by a pair of cowboys, her fellow brothel workers post a reward for their murder, much to the displeasure of Sheriff Little Bill Daggett, who doesn't allow vigilantism in his town. Two groups of gunfighters come to collect the reward, clashing with each other and the sheriff. Slow West is set in Colorado, where a bounty hunter keeps his true motive a secret from the naive Scottish teenager he's offered to serve as bodyguard and guide, while the youth searches for his beloved. Outlaw Ben Wade terrorizes Arizona until he is finally captured. Wade must be brought to trial, so the owner of a drought-stricken ranch volunteers to escort him to the train. Along the trail, a grudging respect forms between the men, but danger looms at every turn, and the criminal's men are in pursuit. Bone Tomahawk is set in the Old West, where a sheriff, his deputy, a gunslinger, and a cowboy embark on a mission to rescue 3 people from a savage group of cave dwellers. After an outlaw named Tom Cheney murders her father, 14-year-old farm girl Mattie Ross hires Rooster Cogburn, a trigger-happy lawman, to help her avenge her father. A Texas ranger named LaBeouf is also tracking Cheney for reasons of his own. Together, the trio ventures into hostile territory to dispense some Old West justice. A group of bloodthirsty bounty hunters, led by the vicious Loco, preys on a band of persecuted outlaws who have taken to the hills. As the price on each head is collected one by one, only a mute gunslinger named Silence stands between the innocent refugees and the greed and corruption that the bounty hunters represent.